We have, and I know I'm going to mess it up, Mathieu Renaud coming up next. He is going to present to us from Epiphan, tell us about the little Pearl. He's going to overview the Pearl 2, the Pearl Mini, and the newest Pearl Nano. I think it's only this big, right? Like the iPod Nano. That's going to be awesome. Stay tuned because he's also giving away an Epiphan AVIO 4K capture, USB capture, right? You can nod. USB capture device. So with that, take it away, Mathieu.
Hello, everyone. So my name is Mathieu. Everyone can just call me Matt for those that are interested. I am a senior customer success specialist at Epiphan. I've been with the company for about 5.5 years or so now. And I'm here to talk to you a bit about the Pearl family today. For those of you that aren't familiar with Epiphan, let me just start off by saying that we are a company that believes that broadcast quality is for everyone. And we're making it happen with intuitive, reliable products and services that demolish traditional barriers and ultimately give you the ability to produce flawless and engaging video. We do that by making sure that all of our creative professionals have access to tools and products that allow them to be trusted and rugged and intuitive and innovative to stay up with the times as new feature sets are being released every year. For those of you that don't know Epiphan, we've been around for over 18 years. We started off with things like simple capture cards and developed capture technology that was used on Mount Everest and on the International Space Station. For those of you that know the astronaut, Leroy Chiao was a big believer in our products. As time went on, in 2015, we created a new product category that was known as Pearl. This was our all-in-one streamer, recorder, and switcher, which now also encompasses the Pearl 2, the Pearl Mini, and the Pearl Nano. And then finally, at the height of the pandemic, when shelter in place and remote working and working from home became an absolute must, we introduced Epiphan Cloud, which is a method at which to manage all of your edge hardware remotely. So with that, today I'm going to be talking about these particular products. The biggest philosophy that we had at Epiphan was ensuring that all of our products fell under specific milestones. They needed to be versatile, reliable, easy to use, and above all else, offer professional video and audio quality regardless of the source, whether you're using a webcam or a $6,000 to $10,000 professional camcorder, or let's say a Red Dragon as an example. We wanted to make sure that that quality is reaching your target audiences in the way that you want most comfortably. We wanted it to be simple to use. This way, whether you are a novice at the industry, just learning live streaming and recording for the first time, or a seasoned veteran that's had way too many decades of experience, you'd be able to understand it in just a small amount of time. We also gave it options like automation to make it a completely hands-free workflow. Let's say perhaps you wanted to have a remote producer. We would give you the tools to do that. And they can be remotely managed from anywhere in the world using tools like Epiphan Cloud. They were also designed with the entire basis being trusted, rugged, and rigorously tested. They can run for 24/7, 365 days a year without ever being powered off or rebooted if you so wish. There's also advanced features like networking and security options, custom security certificates if you need to, and network diagnostic tools which allow you to troubleshoot network-related issues and hiccups before they ever really become a problem. They were also purpose-built appliances. They don't rely on software operating systems like a computer. We all know that sudden Windows updates or Mac OS X updates can be really much a challenge, as well as compatibility between software and hardware. We remove those barriers entirely with these purpose devices. And with Epiphan Cloud and with monitoring options like our multi-viewer, you have 24/7 monitoring and alerting options available to make it so much easier to use. Our devices, above all else, are open ecosystem. This means that there's no vendor lock-ins or proprietary protocols. You can use these devices in any way you want, in any solution for any design. We've got popular integration solutions with content management systems, things like Kaltura and Panopto, and very soon, Yuja at the end of December. These content management systems can be used for both higher education and corporate, government, or any other application where you might want to have a centralized storage or location for viewer access. We also have custom API options for your own development. And Crestron even has modules available for all of our Pearl products, which are free and readily available on their website. All of our Pearl support a wide range of streaming protocols as well. We're all familiar with the standards of RTMP and RTMPS, getting you to places like Facebook Live and YouTube Live, but we also have up-to-date streaming protocols like SRT and NDI as well. This also works as an input source, especially for our friends over at PTZ Optics. Now, picking the right solution is going to be different for each individual. At the height of the pandemic, I had an 80-year-old pastor by the name of Robert, who came to us in technical support and customer success, looking for a solution to reach his parishioners online. For him, he had an existing AV system already, a couple of PTZ cameras, an audio mixer and board already in place, so something like Pearl Nano was really the perfect fit for him. Now, on the other side of that coin, I had Selena, a seasoned veteran with 20 years of experience in a live event space. She was tired of lugging around these massive Pelican cases and shipping that all around the world and was looking for a smaller, centralized way of being able to do that. Pearl 2 was really the solution that allowed her to leverage all of that. And Pearl Mini, what's the perfect middle ground? Maybe you don't need something so simplified with an existing system, but you want just enough production value to give you a slightly more simplified, but all-in-one production feel. And this became incredibly popular in the education space. So Pearl Nano, we already understand, can be great as an add-on to a certain space. If you have an existing distribution amplifier or live mixer or switcher, you can add that on for simple local recording or streaming to multiple destinations simultaneously using a Pearl Nano. It's also great for smaller scale live events. Maybe you just have a single video source or two that you need to capture, set up a custom layout and configuration, and then stream and record that content immediately. But where there's some additional value is if you have remote guests. If I wanted to say, Anthony, I needed you to appear as a remote guest on our show, I could send him a kit with a Pearl Nano, a video source, some audio gear, some simple instructions on how to connect it, and then have that SRT feed stream sent out over the internet directly to a centralized location. Now, for slightly more complex productions where you might need extra layouts, extra video sources, maybe some extra encoded channels for recording purposes, the Pearl Mini is an excellent fit. And above all else, with its large 7-inch touchscreen, is great for a shared video production environment. Ease of use is absolutely paramount, and we understand having simple options like a big start and stop button for recording and streaming is an awesome way to get that done. Now, for people like Selena, Pearl 2 is really the solution to fit all. This all-in-one production solution can capture more in the way of video sources. Where Pearl Nano can capture 2 and Pearl Mini can capture up to 3, Pearl 2 can really capture up to 6 video sources simultaneously. Has features for things like up and down scaling, UHD capabilities for capture and for streaming, as well as being able to add some additional features like NDI and chroma keying. And it works great as a production hub for remote contributions from SRT feeds. All of our products can capture from a multitude of different types of sources. You're not just locked into a connected HDMI SDI source. If you're using something like the Pearl 2, capturing a PTZ Optics NDI camera is really easy to do, or the output of a PowerPoint slide presentation, or maybe even using NDI Alpha to get some titling software programmed into Pearl. You can also send out content either over UPnP or even to NDI to smart TVs and set-top boxes for overflow rooms and confidence monitoring, or add them as contributions to existing conference rooms or types of meetings. And above all else, Pearl family products are designed to work together. If Anthony has a Pearl Nano at his location, I can use a centralized Pearl Mini or Pearl 2 to capture that SRT feed to make him a host in real time with ultra low latency. And then I can reach all of you as my target audiences online using a variety of different streaming protocol capabilities. Above all else, the person on the other end who's got that end Pearl Nano or SRT contribution encoder doesn't need to have the ins and outs of all the technology. All they would really need to do is have the simple instructions of connect video source A into port A, audio sources, network sources, and power the device on. From there, with something like Epiphan Cloud, you can have a remote producer remotely log into all of these devices, configure them, set them up for final viewing, and then trigger the entire event directly from the comfort of his space, either in a remote production studio or the comfort of his couch at home. Now, I mentioned that we offer all of the most up-to-date streaming protocols. We have things like RTMP and RTMPS, SRT, HLS, MPEG-, support for both unicast and multicast streams as well. On the screen here, you'll see a couple of examples of streaming destinations that you can certainly go to, but you're not limited to those. And our devices also support streaming to multiple destinations simultaneously from a single encoded channel. And we don't like to stifle creativity either. We don't hide all of our creativity behind predefined templates or layouts. You can combine and crop and mix and match your multiple video sources, add things like overlay images, custom background content, transparent logo you might want to have in a corner or on the screen somewhere, and more. Things like chroma keying will leverage NDI alpha features for dynamic lower thirds. And we also want to make sure that our simple and intuitive and mobile-friendly versions for Pearl Mini and Pearl 2 specifically are easy for control. Epiphan Live is an extension of this web UI for our products and will allow you to do things like monitor health and information for the device, a dashboard to see all of your connected sources, start and stop recordings and streams, just to name a few. But when remote is important, especially if you're limited staff at a live conferencing event where you might have some breakout rooms, Epiphan Cloud can really be the tool to save the day. It's your command center for all of your Epiphan hardware devices. This cloud-based platform allows you to configure and monitor all of your devices. You can remotely access and control all of them and get things like real-time alerting and production issues, if in the event of production issues, I should say. You can find out if a video source has been disconnected or powered off, if the device has suddenly got offline just to network-related issues, or if maybe where you're trying to stream to, you're running into an error, perhaps not enough bandwidth. And with our network diagnostic tools available on the devices themselves, can further empower you to reach that successful audience at the end of the day. Lastly, with Epiphan Cloud, there's options like time-saving batch actions that you can do. You can apply a single configuration preset or profile to multiple devices of the same type. And you can also start and stop the recording of multiple independent encoders from the single touch within Epiphan Cloud. And we aren't just limited to live streaming and recording. We can be used in any sort of environment, regardless of what you say. As an example, in education, there's a larger university in Middle Tennessee that you can find a Pearl Mini in absolutely every classroom. You can also find things like our Pearl 2 and Pearl Mini in the legal chambers, where you can do remote depositions or providing evidence to jurors on a stand. And in the Hawaii State Senate case, we've got an excellent use case on our website that can outline how our Pearl 2 has been leveraged to really maximize their capabilities. And I would highly recommend that you check out our use case section on our website, which will outline a lot of setups for different use cases, as well as showcasing the technology stacks for the products. Now, I'm sure some of you guys will have questions, but if for whatever reason you don't have questions available today, but you can think of them later, we have an awesome support team available at any time, either live chat on our website, via phone, a ticket system on our website, or you can always reach out to us directly to book a one-on-one demo or ask your questions at info@epiphan.com. But I'd recommend first and foremost to check out our website at epiphan.com/products to see the Pearl line of products, as well as all of our frame grabbers and even our live transcription service called Epiphan LiveScript.
I was going to say, you're not going to post your phone number on there, right?
No, not this time.
And if you have any questions, just give me a call, day or night, worldwide. No, I'm kidding. We did have some questions come in, so let me scroll back up. Where's the first one? Oh man, that's the problem with this as opposed to a chat session.
That's okay. While you're searching that, I can at least comment that a comment from AVI Trainer was asking about if you're wanting to capture a source outside of your network. This is where something like where I talked about an SRT contribution encoder like Pearl Nano would really fit the bill. If you got a video source that's way outside of the network, SRT is a great way of being able to get that into a centralized location. The couple of things that you'll need, obviously, is the public IP address of the destination, probably at both ends, and the specific port you want to use. That will also help get all of your content to where you need it to go.
All right. So first one from AV Trainers also, NDI5, is that inbound or outbound?
The answer is yes to both. You can capture NDI as a video source as an input. So if you have something like a Pearl 2, you can do up to 4 NDI sources as an input capture. And you can also have the NDI output as a source. So if you're wanting to use a Pearl 2 in a larger production system to get that into something like Zoom or Microsoft Teams, really, really easy to do.
All right. One thing that I actually had a question about, like you had a slide and it actually said Zoom was a destination.
Yes. So we don't have
I don't
a direct.
think I've seen. Okay, go ahead.
So we don't have a direct integration from a Pearl product directly into it, but they can be encompassed into larger systems. So as an example, I'm using a Pearl today, and I'm capturing that into one of our USB capture cards. So it's getting the entire program feed out. And because I'm using a Pearl 2, I also have a secondary HDMI output, which I'm using as my confidence monitoring and overflow.
Okay, because we were actually talking about this a little bit of pre-show, and we were saying, you know what? All these streaming tools, nobody has a hook directly into Zoom where you could just type in the name and the passcode and just say, go to Zoom.
No, and I mean, we love this feedback and this information. We're a relatively small, I would say a medium-sized company at this point, but we also love hearing feedback from existing and prospective clients and customers, because all of that feedback pushes our development team to figure out what our next development plan is for new features, capabilities, and functionalities of our products.
All right.
And on that note,
from
I will just make one small mention that for the life cycle of the product, if the product is still being made, you'll still keep getting free firmware upgrades with new features every year.
All right. Maxine asks, are there any plans for physical Pearl controllers? Because I know if you got it in the rack or whatever, it'd be nice to have something on the desk.
I would have to speak to a developer and to our product manager regarding that. I know that we have started exploring other options, but there are other workarounds like using third-party control systems. We've had quite a few customers actually do their own custom development on things like the little small like 10 button controllers, just basically triggering API commands for the devices. So no physical controllers as it stands, but there are some workarounds that you can certainly do using API or the existing Crestron module and things of that nature.
To piggyback on the previous, what Stephen was saying, do you have a hook to central control? Because if you can hook into central control, then anybody can use whatever they want.
At the moment, no, but that is something that I have made a note to discuss with the product manager once this conversation is done.
Like, you don't have to build it. You just build a hook. Let somebody else build it. Bob asks, can you control PTZ camera remotely via SRT using the Pearl system? Unfortunately,
no. While purpose-built products are fantastic because they offer a large set of features, at the moment, we can't accommodate to every possible use case. It is something that is currently being investigated by our development team, and we have attempted to do some of that in the past from an exploratory standpoint. And it is something that is still high on our list of considerations. But at the moment, you are limited to using your controller externally from Pearl.
Okay, and to follow up on that, Ruben asks, can a smartphone be used to control the Pearl?
Absolutely. So Epiphan Live is an extension of the web user interface for our Pearl family products. They've been completely optimized to use with a smartphone or a tablet. It just means that these devices have to be on the same network as Pearl. As long as they are, not an issue. As soon as you type in the IP address followed by /admin, it'll prompt for like standard username and password for security purposes to log in, and will immediately give you the dashboard where you can monitor all of your devices, do live switching, start and stop recordings, and even disable and enable HDMI outputs if needed.
All right, so that answers a later question as well. A couple of people asked, building a hook with Zoom OSC or something like that to, do those commands. But like I said, if you can build a hook to central control, that'll it's sort of like doing NDI. I don't have to adopt every camera. All I have to do is handle NDI, and that'll handle every camera.
Exactly. Yeah.
Someone, Fernando asks, do Pearl devices log events or errors during the transmit receive sessions?
They do. So there is a permanent log section in Perl. It's on, you'd find it at the top of the maintenance page if you have it enabled. The logs are not very viewer ready. So you typically have to scour through them and likely would probably have to reach out to one of us to make sense of a lot of them. There is simple error reporting as well. So if you're running into an issue at the time, you will get some network related errors and will tell you what it is and what the problem is, as well as the network diagnostic tools will give you a little bit more information from a network troubleshooting perspective. But if it's in regard to a recording issue or a configuration issue, you'll find all of this information within the permanent logs.
All right. AVI Trainer asks a couple good questions. Do you see Epiphan going back to the entry-level product like the WCX2?
So that Webcaster X2, it is a solution that we are evaluating as to whether or not it's something that we're going to do. Right now, within a massive chip shortage, there is a little bit of a challenge of trying to, sequester all of the components that we need to develop and build products. So it is on our list of investigations at the moment, but Webcaster X2, unfortunately, we don't have a direct replacement at the moment. The closest option would be the Pearl Nano.
Okay. And then he also asks, what about, I think it's CDI for Epiphan, 4K, Jitsi, Zixi, etc.
I have to see, where can I find this question? I'm not sure I understood that one there.
It's in the chat, and those are different solutions for sending data that have redundancy and everything involved in them, forward error correction, buffering.
Okay.
I think that's just other solutions other than SRT.
So CDI is not something that we currently have in our product line. 4K as a video standard for UHD is currently available on the Pearl 2 and is being investigated for the Pearl Mini and Pearl Nano as an optional license upgrade in the future. SRT is the future, but it is costly now, and I agree it is, but it's an excellent solution. We can go from our main manufacturers that could be thousands of kilometers or miles away and have a very, very low latency time between send and receive. So that's pretty sweet.
All righty. I am going to take this moment and I'm going to scroll through the attendees list. I'm going to go down and I'm going to go back up. I'm using this highly technical thing. I'm surprised that Zoom doesn't have a random number, just picker or something like that. And I'm going to move my cursor up and down and highlight a name. Anthony Martorina. Anthony Martorina. Give us a shout out in the chat. You are the proud winner of the Epiphan IO4K. Do you have one to hold up?
I don't have one with me, unfortunately. I'm actually using it to get it into Zoom.
I don't have one either.
So they are USB capture cards that can capture any video signal. It's HDMI or adapted DVI, all the way from 640 by 360 up to 3840 by 2160 at up to 60 frames per second.
All righty. Thank you very much, Matt. I appreciate your time. I appreciate y'all answering all those questions.